What if I told you that one man is reshaping the future of innovation across Africa?
Can you tell me 5 basic principles of Islamic financing based on Sahih al-Bukhari?
Sure. Islamic financing principles are grounded in Sharia law and are reflected in various hadiths, including those found in Sahih al-Bukhari. Here are 5 basic principles.
In this episode, I sit down with the founder of Sahara Ventures, a man at the center of Africa's innovation, startups, and the AI wave reshaping our future.
Technology is changing very fast.
Okay.
Technology is changing very fast to an extent. Within 3 months, we had different definition and Swahili translation for artificial intelligence.
We talk about what's really holding African founders back, why AI could be our biggest opportunity, or our biggest threat, and how to build ecosystems that actually work. And just when I thought we were done, he made a chilling prediction about AI that completely changed my perspective.
It is for the first time in the history of the planet where the world is actually at your hand. You can literally use the power of these things to do whatever you want. These things can write lyrics better than Soros sang.
Stay tuned. You won't want to miss this.
Whenever technology comes in, it has a tendency to take jobs, but it creates new jobs. When the train was coming in, horses went out of jobs, because we used to use horses to move around. We used to have, let's say, people were collecting horse shit on the roads, but they lost their jobs. But when the train comes in, we had engineers, we had expert in core,
But before we get started, subscribe if you truly are making your own destiny. And by the way, this intro was made by AI. Enjoy.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the studio of MOD Podcast.
Thank you. I'm humbled and honored to be here.
Yeah, and you complained that there's traffic.
I didn't complain, I said. I never complain.
Okay. It's normal. Like during these times, it's a rush hour from this place to town. Most people live here, close to our studio.
There's rush hours in London, not in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah, so tell me you have a book called The Diary of an African Hub Manager. So before you introduce yourself, before people get to know you, I need to know about this book first. What's the book about?
It's an interesting book. It was a book commemorating 10 years of my career working on the innovation ecosystem. It's a bit technical, but an innovation ecosystem is an ecosystem of support of an entrepreneur.
Okay.
What we say, it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes an innovation ecosystem to raise a successful entrepreneur. This includes investors, business accelerators, regulators who are working together to support this young business person to eventually become successful. So the book talks about the process of supporting talent and ambitious young entrepreneurs and innovators to become successful in their journey, and what is our role as a community. So what is my role as an early stage investor? What is my role as a person who runs a company that incubates ideas? What's the role of the government? What's the role of academic and research institutions? So it looks in our own local context. That's why the tagline of the book is also lessons from building our own innovation ecosystem. But that is one part of the book. The second part of the book talks mainly around my personal journey as an entrepreneur, people I've encountered, and how eventually I was able to build Sahara Ventures and become who I am today. Yeah.
Okay. You told me Mr. Vusi Thembekwayo wrote a foreword in a book.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get Mr. Vusi to approve your book?
Approve. Okay, that's very interesting. First of all, I don't think he likes to be called Mr. Vusi.
Okay.
It's just Vusi. It's VT. He has an amazing brand, I think. And also, I think universe is a very interesting way of bringing people together. So if you have a shared passion, a shared interest to transform your communities or your society. Whatever is doing in SA, trying to transform lives of young people in South Africa, I'm doing the same thing in Tanzania, and we're doing through the same vehicle, which is innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship plus investment. So basically, that is what brought us together.
Okay.
This is a guy who came to Tanzania for his own mission. He has his own business agendas, but he felt what I was doing was really, really important to this community. And then out of conversation, he actually volunteered to give his time to talk to entrepreneurs through my platform. So again, after I did that, to me these are the kind of people who shape the future of Africa, because they're not just look inward toward their own self, but also they look outside on how they can be able to serve the community. And as you know, in a society where median age is below 20 years old, one of our core responsibilities is try to see how we can shape and transform lives of these young people, because eventually they'll be in a good position to shape the future of this continent. So we have that shared perception, we have that shared vision. So it wasn't this difficult to tell him, hey, I wrote this book, it is targeting the specific group we're looking to serve. Do you mind to put your seal of approval here? And it was like, I'm all in.
Okay. Oh, and how can I get your book? Because you came with no book today.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's available in bookstores. Okay. And also it's available within the ecosystem of people I work with, and also entrepreneurs and innovators who are working in the tech ecosystem. It's no secret, most of the business I invest and support in the technology sector. Yeah. But also it's available on Amazon. In case you want to save trees, you just go and it has been there for almost, 3 or 4 years, so you can always access it.
Okay, yeah. For people who want to read the book, I think we'll put the link down in the description. So if you want to download it or you want to buy it, you just click the link and go and get the book. So can you share a bit of your background? Where did you get started and how did you get involved in the tech industry?
Okay, it's very interesting. I'm a Chief Maya guy. I was born in Morogoro, but I've never lived in Morogoro. Okay. I was raised in Dar es Salaam. No, my mom is Muguru. I struggle with identity.
Okay.
My dad is Sukuma, but they came to Dar es Salaam in early 1900s. So they lost their identity as Sukumas. So some people called us Zaramos, because we engaged, and also my granddad got married to a Zaramo lady. Yeah. So at some point in time we struggle with our identity, but I was raised in Kariakoo. Okay. To be specific, where the current BRT stand is. Okay. Yeah. So if you're a newcomer in Dar es Salaam, pale unapanda mabasi ya mwendokasi, that is where used to be our house.
At Kariakoo?
At Kariakoo.
It's near Uhuru Street, right?
Yeah, near Uhuru Street. So exactly adjacent to Uhuru Wasichana Primary School in Uhuru Mchanganyiko. But I also, we grew up in Ilala, in a street called Pangani in Utete. Okay. I went to Azania, and I also went to Forozani Primary School. So I've always been a born and raised in town guy. Okay. One town Kitambo. Where did I first interact with a computer, and how did I develop interest in tech? One of the privilege you get when you're born in town is access to whatever new technology that's coming out. This was during the time internet cafe was a thing. Some of the oldest internet cafe in Tanzania was one called Wilder Cafe in Kariakoo. Okay. So when I was in standard 5 and 6, we used to go and play PlayStation, and we used to pay money to actually play PlayStation. So when we were playing PlayStation at Musa, some of our friends were going to access internet, which is a massive privilege then, at Wilder Internet Cafe. And the moment I interact with the computer for the first time was like, this is my thing, I want this. So I started to crack my head on how I can access a computer. So I wasn't coming from a family that has privilege to access computer. So I kept on pig banking to guys who already have computers within their own houses. And eventually, when I reached Form 3, my dad bought one of the oldest computer I've ever seen in my life, a Pentium 3 computer, an IBM computer. And it was an amazing experience because this was my first computer. I had a chance to, because it was already used and broken, so I could do anything I wanted with it. By then, pimping a computer was a big thing. You guys are pimping cars now. I used to pimp computers. So I removed the small hard drive, I put a big one. I removed the old small RAM, I put a new RAM. I had to put a new CD-ROM which could actually ban CD so that I can make some money selling bongo flava music in CDs. So it was a good experience. And then everyone thought I was like this young Wheezy kids who can actually be able to do some of these things. But also there was a unique opportunity at the high school. I mean, the secondary school I went, Tanzania. We had a small computer lab with very old computers. For those who went to Tanzania, they remember that computer lab. Actually, if you go there, you look like a Bisho guy, because as a boy, we used to take everything very serious. So I used to go there. That is where I coded for the first time. I used to code through MS-DOS and the DOS command. And I developed passion from there. I knew this is something I want to build my career. So if you ask me right now, where did my foundation in passion and love to computers started? I'll attribute it to two things or two people. First, my dad, with that old Pentium 3 computer, he didn't know what he did, but he completely transformed my life. And also that access to that small lab at Tanzania to me was massive. And that's why part of our CSR or Sahara Ventures is to give kids access to computer, is to give kids access to STEM knowledge, because we believe if you're coming from an underprivileged background, something that can actually transform you right now is knowledge and understanding of these technologies, because eventually you can use them in any way you want.
Most of us just use computers to log into Facebook, maybe YouTube, maybe TikTok, but you are pimping computers. So that's like a different story. How are you helping people to understand tech in Tanzania?
It's interesting. So this takes me to what we do at Sahara Ventures. And a bit of background. How did I end up at Sahara Ventures? The reason my book is called The Diary of the African Hub Manager is because my first role, a formal employed role, was a role called Innovation Trainee Manager, a person who's supposed to support young innovators, but also work on building innovation ecosystem by working with different partners. That was my first JD for the first formal job. I got employed by the government through a bilateral project between the Tanzanian government and Finnish government. Eventually, I became what they call Innovation Hub Manager, where basically I was managing a space where innovators who have ideas and tech enthusiasts and entrepreneurs who come with ideas that are tech related, and I'll give them advice on what to do in order to be able to commercialize and build the ideas and scale them. And that is where my mission to use technology to transform societies and communities and young people started. I think by the time I finished, all my contract ran out from that program, I had already interacted with more than 5,000 young Tanzanians with the ideas. So for the first 5 years of my career, formal career, I was paid to listen to ideas and to advise people on the ideas, especially tech-related ideas. So I made that my mission, and it's the same move that I moved with when I co-founded Sahara Ventures. When we started Sahara Sparks, which is a sister company, one of the sister company under the umbrella of Sahara Ventures, was basically to create a platform where young people with ideas, especially tech-related idea, can come and showcase what they do. And we give them a platform where they can meet with potential investors, strategic partners, policymakers, who can help them excel. And this year we're celebrating 10 years of Sahara Ventures. So this was back in 2016 when we did this for the first time. And from there I knew everyone has a call. Some have a call to teach people. Some have a call to, preach and make people understand the power of the Almighty. My call was, can you use technology, innovation, entrepreneurship to transform people's life, especially young people?
You said you dealt with 5,000 people in tech.
Yeah. Plus, if you come, like right now, it's more than that. That is like, by the time I was finishing my contract at Costech as a public employee.
Most people in their whole lifetime, it's very rare to even get to know like just 200 people. But you dealt with 5,000 and you are solving real tech issues. So I want to know what challenges that face a lot of tech innovators here in Tanzania and Africa in general. What are the main challenges?
I'm an apologetic optimist. I would have talked about opportunities, but we'll talk about challenges. There are so many challenges, but I think the biggest one is mindset.
Okay.
And it is bit historical of how we're being raised.
Yeah.
You have to know, I don't know if it's too personal, I don't want to ask your age, but you look young. We are the first generation of Tanzanians who are happy to be called ourselves founders and CEOs. Do you know that?
I don't know.
If you talk to your father or someone of his age, they will tell you by then anyone who does business was either a Tanzanian of Asian origin, what we call Indians, or a white person, or a merchant from a certain country who come here to do business.
Okay.
So historically, our community, our society was not designed to run businesses and solve problems.
Okay.
We were used to receive solutions from other people and to consume what other people are selling to us.
Okay.
So for some time, people are doing businesses that look like aliens. Where are these guys coming from? And that's why there's that sense of wafanyabiashara ni wezi, that opportunists are taking things from us and everything, because historically we were socialists.
Okay.
We believe in Ubuntu, the art of we should give, support each other, and not compete, But our neighbors, let's say, for example, Kenyans, traditionally they are capitalists. Dog eat dog, they grab everything. You're getting me?
Yeah.
So that of itself has massive impact on a mindset of a young Tanzanian right now.
Okay.
You're getting me? So the biggest challenge is the mindset of a go-getter. I need to go out there. I need to take chance. I need to try. I need to fail. And if I fail, it's okay to fail. I need to fail fast. I need to fail cheap. I need to learn from my failure. Failure is good. So that's the second thing. Under the subset of mindset, we were not raised in an environment where you can actually make mistakes and you can learn from your mistakes. You can even remember when you grew up, a person who was not doing well in the family and wanaosha vyombo, doing those bad things, because to us failure is a curse, while failure is actually an opportunity to learn. So the biggest challenge, the first one is the mindset.
Okay.
And this is something that I really work hard to try to fix. Actually, my next book, which will come before the end of this year, is called Where Great Ideas Come From.
Okay.
Like, how do you come up with an idea as a young person? How do you use your brain to come up with an idea which you can basically commercialize what you're working on? I wanted to call the book The African Startup Manifesto, but I think where good ideas come from is more important, because that's a question I kind of been asked every time I meet a young person. So, bro, how do I validate if this idea will succeed? Can you give me feedback on my idea? So I think that will help them to do that. So the second thing is skills.
Okay.
It's not easy to build a business. You're an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah.
You need to develop multiple capabilities that will allow you to establish and run a business. A business person is a communicator. A business person is a salesperson. A business person is a strategic person. A business person is an analytical person. A business person has to develop so many skills to be able to run a business. Yeah. So currently, as you already know, our education system Okay, if I say this, some people attack me because I'm a board member of Tanzania Institute of Education. We have come up with the new competence-based education, of course. So congrats to the government, because we're trying to fix the problem. The biggest challenge we're facing with a lot of our young people, it is not the hard skills. Some of them have very good GPAs in the classroom, but what they lack is soft skills, what we call the 4Cs.
Yeah.
They struggle to think critically. They struggle to communicate effectively.
Okay.
They struggle to work on solutions creatively, and they struggle to work in teams collaboratively. So critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration, the 4Cs, these are the biggest challenge most of our young people are facing. And you being an entrepreneur yourself, without these 4 skills, there's no way you can run a business. Like, you can't run a business if you're not a critical thinker. You can't run a business if you cannot communicate. How can you do sales and marketing?
Exactly.
You can't run a business if you can collaborate. How do you establish strategic partnership? So skills is one of the biggest challenges that is also facing these young founders. Actually, skills is way important than what you'll ask the founders right now. They'll tell you, like, what's the problem? Why you can't be immediate? They'll respond, I don't have access to finance. But believe me, if you have the right skills, finance is not a problem, because you will know, let's say if you have advanced finance skills, you can know how to structure a deal, you can know how to put together an investment deck, you can understand how to approach an investor, you can be able to pitch to someone, convince them through numbers and facts that this business will make sense, and eventually be able to raise capital. Of course, I'm not bound praying the problem of access to capital, which is also a problem that is facing a lot of young entrepreneurs, because of we lack systems that actually offer early stage financing for most of the startups and small SMEs. So that's also a third problem. And I think the fourth one is the culture within our community, which also influence our policies and regulation when it comes to small scale businesses. As I told you, we don't see businesses as career, businesses an opportunity to create job. It is something that we start to see right now. If you look at our employment policies, if you look at our business environment policies, most of them, they were designed to support traditional public institutions and large corporates, but not small startups and SMEs, to accommodate them in such a way that they can excel. So coming back to your core question, the key issues and problems that are facing young entrepreneurs right now in Tanzania, the first one is mindset. The second one is skills. The third one is access to finance. And the fourth one is culture and the policy design and set up to support them to grow.
And is that what Sahara Ventures is tackling right now?
Part of what we are tackling right now. So the framework of Sahara Ventures is composed of 3 companies. Sahara Sparks, which is a marketplace. Sahara Consulting, which is a management consulting firm. And Sahara Accelerator, which is a business accelerator, some will call incubator. So what we do is we are set to identify young entrepreneurs, to accelerate them, meaning that to bring them to a stage where they can be investor ready, and then to promote them through our marketplace, which is Sahara Sparks, and showcase them to potential investor. Our dream is after that to be able to invest. We tried to establish our own investment fund before. We were not able to establish something called Sahara Capital to actually invest and put money in these businesses. But I actually right now invest as an individual to some of these businesses. Some of the startups I'm investing in include Gas Faster, whom they do delivery of clean cooking gas. And now we're doing communal kitchens in Kunduchi, which are like shared clean cooking facilities for fishing communities. So I work with different startups as an investor. And the idea is we didn't get a chance for people to invest in our businesses when they were starting. So we want to create this culture where if a young person has started a business, instead of waiting for a foreigner coming from outside Tanzania to invest, it should be a community thing to invest in those businesses. The same way we contribute for weddings, is about time we contribute for small businesses.
Most Tanzanians, they think it's okay to contribute for someone getting married, but when you say, I have a business idea, I'm going to study, can you contribute? It's very difficult.
I'm not sure if it's scientific, it's factual about studying. I know some communities that actually contribute people to go to studying, but also, as I told you, it took years for my parents to understand what I'm doing, because to them, starting and running a business is not work. Work is to get employed and get salary at the end of the month. Because my dad worked in one place for over 40 years. My mom worked in one place for over 30 years, 33 years or something. So you need to get a proper job. Stop this super speed logistics startup thing. That's how they think. So you don't need to blame them. So if you go to them and say, because the definition of a startup, for example, a startup is a business that is operating in an unproven market with untested business model, with the potential to grow exponentially. So imagine telling this to your father who has never run a business before. Dad, I need you to give me money, but I'm going to start a business with unproven market, untested business model. But I promise you, if everything goes well, it's going to grow exponentially. There's no market. Your business model is untested. You're just telling me crazy ideas. Go and get employment. Watakuuliza hakuna mtu anahitaji milioni moja kupe kazi uko hapa. Pelekea mlipe so that you can get an employment. Yeah.
Most parents and most of Africans and Tanzanians in general, they love security. And they think that a job is a security. But when you look at the facts, you'll find out that more than 300,000 people graduate every year. They enter the job market in Tanzania. But the jobs that are available are less than 10%. So you see that most of them will be unemployed. And even those that will be employed, they have no security because the competition is very huge. So you being in the tech sector and you knowing that there are a lot of people who are unemployed, what opportunities are in the tech sector that everyone can come and grab?
First, there's no opportunities to come and grab. There's opportunity to work your ass out to get them. Sorry for the A word, but my point is, if something is there to grab, we'll all be grabbing. Like we all work hard to get what we get.
Yeah.
I'll start with security. It's a very bad way of looking at things, and culture is not correct to look at a job as a security. Because the moment you look at a job as a security, you become comfortable. And growth and comfortability don't stay in one room. You're getting me? You never grow.
Yes.
You understand me? And that's why someone can stay one place for 40 years without innovating, without disrupting, without offering new solutions. They're okay with the normal process. And if you're okay with the normal process, what happens is the status quo remains the same. It will be very difficult to attain the progress that you're looking to progress if everything stays the same. So the biggest threat in the history of this country is anyone who thinks a public job should provide security to them, because these are not people going to help us move to the next stage of development. You're getting me? So that's number one. Number two, getting back to your core question, what are the opportunities that are there to grab? There are no opportunities to grab. There are opportunities that if you work hard, you can seize them. So the opportunity to seize, not to grab. You're getting me? So technology is changing very fast.
Okay.
Technology is changing very fast to an extent. Within 3 months, we had different definition and Swahili translation for artificial intelligence. Some will call it akili mnemba, some will call it akili bandia, some will call it akili unde. I don't know which one is the actual proper Swahili for artificial intelligence. And when I look at what is happening right now, you said your background is on banking and finance. Oh my God, what artificial intelligence can do in banking and finance, we should just shut down the universities.
Really?
unless you do that manual work of attending people, which nobody needs to be attended right now, because they can attend themselves on their own phones through mobile banking. I'm going to give you a simple example. Let's see if this is going to work. A very simple example. You look at a sector like a very simple sector like a public relation officer.
Yeah.
You want a public relation officer who can actually well articulate what you do in the most professional way. So I'm gonna try to do something here. Just a minute.
Okay.
Hello, Mambo vipi? Oh.
Hello, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm good. Can you explain Sahara Ventures in Kiswahili and what does the company do?
Ndiyo kabisa. Sahara Ventures ni kampuni inayojikita katika kujenga na kukuza mfumo wa uvumbuzi na ujasiriamali wa kiteknolojia barani Afrika, hasa nchini Tanzania. Wanatoa huduma za kusaidia vijana na wafanyabiashara wadogo kwa njia ya programu za ubunifu na ukuzaji biashara, pamoja na kuwaunganisha na mitaji na wawekezaji. Pia, Sahara Ventures inafanya kazi na wadau mbalimbali kama mashirika ya serikali, mashirika ya kimataifa na sekta binafsi ili kuimarisha mazingira ya biashara na ubunifu.
So,
that.
So this is ChatGPT.
Okay. ChatGPT?
Yeah. This is
I use ChatGPT every day. I don't know about that feature.
You don't know about this feature. So this feature is not going to get you out of job.
Okay.
Because imagine kijana ambaye someone who has gone to school to do like public relation, to explain to people why a certain entity does what it does. And they struggle to communicate effectively. I think in the past few seconds you heard what this thing was communicating and articulating my company in the best way possible, more than me, the owner,
Exactly.
explain it to you. You're getting my point. And it's explaining it in Kiswahili.
Yeah.
In our native language. So you could have said, no, but it's talking in English. It's explaining it in Kiswahili. So what happened is, this is not a threat. This is an opportunity.
Okay.
This is an opportunity for you out there with these changes, because whenever changes come, there are losers and winners. So the last thing you want to be a loser. You want to be a winner. And how do you become a winner in the age of artificial intelligence? Is for you to move to a phase where we call augmented intelligence.
Okay.
So what is augmented intelligence? Augmented intelligence is basically you being able to use these devices effectively.
To your advantage.
So that it can enhance your capabilities. So if you're a financial expert, but you've never worked in McKinsey, you should be able to do a business analysis at a McKinsey level, because ChatGPT can be able to do that.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? If you are a policy advisor, a financial advisor, and people want to hear about, let me show you something. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, thanks. What's up?
I'm good. So I'm supposed to advise the president of Tanzania on Vision 2050 and how Tanzania can attain a $1 trillion economy. What are the 5 key things I should advise with facts and numbers?
All right, that's a big responsibility, but also a fantastic opportunity. Here are 5 key areas to focus on for Tanzania to reach a $1 trillion economy by 2050, supported by facts and figures. Industrialization and manufacturing. Tanzania should significantly boost its manufacturing sector to move up the value chain. Currently, manufacturing contributes around 8% of the GDP. Increasing this to at least 20 to 25% by focusing on agro-processing, textiles, and resource-based industries could add hundreds of billions to the GDP.
So the thing is, if you're a seasonal economist, we are supposed to advise leaders on how they can do their financial projection and planning, and also future forecasting and foresighting. you no longer just go there and spend and waste a lot of time reading document, because this tool can help you to do that. What you need is your original brain and capacity to articulate things and to explain. And that's the capability these devices will give you. So right now, if someone gives you, Musa, a business plan as a finance and banking expert and ask you, is this project bankable? You know what I'll do? I'll take the business plan, upload it here and say, like a BCG or McKinsey expert, run through this business plan and tell me whether it's investable or not. In 5 minutes, it will give me the answer. And then I'll use my brain to check what are facts and what are not. My point is, what I'm trying to say, it is for the first time in the history of the planet where the world is actually at your hand. You can literally use the power of these things to do whatever you want. These things can write lyrics better than Soros sang. You understand what I'm saying? Inaweza kaandika mashairi mazuri kuliko Shaban Robert. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can be sending love letters every day in the morning if you wish, and translating them to Kiswahili, so you can look very cool guy for a young person. You understand me? So basically, but how do we use these technologies effectively? How do you use these technologies, for example, to prepare your marketing plan for your small startup? How do you use this technology to write a small business plan and proposal for investors that you want to raise money from? How do you use these technologies to write your book for kids to learn about STEM science, because you love to write books? How do you use these technologies to imagine future design through drawings, as an architecture designer? So these technologies are giving us that capability. So if we talk about the opportunity that is available in the technology right now, the biggest one is emerging technologies, which include artificial intelligence, big data, Internet of Things, and other related technologies. And to us, what is unique is, how are we going to use these technologies in our own context? How are we going to use them in health sector to improve the quality of health we provide? How are we going to use them in education to improve the learning outcomes of kids? How are we going to use them in agriculture to allow us to do quick research of what are the market prices out there? What are type of seeds that we should use to get yield that we expect to have, and things like that?
AI is very amazing, and they say that AI is going to take a lot of people's jobs. The tech sector is developing so fast. It's very, very difficult for someone like me who is not in the tech industry to keep up. It's very easy for me to be left behind. Not just me. We have seen a lot of big companies that were very huge back then, but they couldn't keep up with the fast development of tech, and they were left behind, and they lost everything. They lost their companies, the likes of Nokia, because they couldn't keep up with the pace of
change of technology.
So technology is changing every day. So right now, what emerging technologies that you see as someone who is in the tech space that excite you the most right now?
Okay, so it's artificial intelligence. Within artificial intelligence is generative AI. Within generative AI is autonomous AI or agentic AI. I'm super excited on what's going to do. It's very scary in terms of jobs, because you're going to automate jobs of 10 people in 2 minutes with agentic AI. With agentic AI, just to give you an idea of what it can do, it's like you wake up in the morning and you talk to ChatGPT and say, hey, how are you? How is your day? So plan my day. Can you tell me if there's traffic in Bahari Beach or not? Should I go there or should I invite them to come here? I'm planning to travel next month. Can you book hotel for me? Can you make sure this hotel is affordable? Can you also get me ticket from Qatar Airways? Because I need to get the best price. And it can do that because the possibilities of autonomous AI and agentic AI is completely another level. I was in the UK 2 weeks ago in AI Rush conference, and I saw what those companies are presenting, and I'm like, are we really ready for this? I looked at on the negative side, a person who is actually supposed to be booking ticket, a person who's supposed to be booking hotels, a person who's supposed to be a PA and advise you or receive your email and everything, they all go out of jobs. But I looked on the positive side. What will actually this do to the new industries that are going to be emerging? So whenever technology comes in, it has a tendency to take jobs, but it creates new jobs. When the train was coming in, horses went out of jobs, because we used to use horses to move around. We used to have, let's say, people were collecting horse shit on the roads, but they went out, they lost their jobs. But when the train comes in, we had engineers, we had expert in core, we had expert in assembly line when the Ford introduced the new cars. So new types of jobs will be created. I think the most important question is, are we preparing our communities, our societies, especially our young people, to capitalize on those new jobs that will be coming up? Because the old jobs will be phased out. And the best way to do that is to actually fix our education system. Because if you don't fix your education system faster enough, the biggest challenge is you won't be able to catch up. And I don't think our traditional education system, especially the diploma, the certificates, and bachelor degrees and masters, will be able to create what I call an army of talent to capitalize on these technologies. We need a conventional and traditional approach to be able to create as many young people as possible who are able to capitalize on these programs. For example, one of my good friends in Nigeria, their Minister of ICT, Boson Tijani, he has a program called 3 million tech talent in Nigeria, where they go to different campuses, they organize boot camps, they do a lot of programs just to change the mindset of young people and give them access to these tools. Because they know if you do it through degree programs, if you do it through master's program, you won't reach enough young people to equip them with these skills enough, because we need them to have these skills. As you can see, if you are doing a Bachelor of Commerce right now and your dream is to become a financial analyst, if you don't know how to use ChatGPT to do proper financial analysis and projection and everything, if we go to an interview, if I use ChatGPT, and if you don't know how to use ChatGPT to prepare a financial report or financial projection or financial analysis, I'm definitely going to have competitive advantage over you. If we are told to write a press release, we're both journalists, in a good English professional one. To me, just a single line of prompt, like, can you write a very good press release, like a seasonal journalist who write press releases? And I can say, you know what, use grammatic language, or use technical language, or if the sector is energy, I'll say use the language of the energy sector, and then I'll become an expert in that sector. So how do we integrate these skills to our young people, especially the concept of prompting? It's going to be critical in the next few years.
Kama huna akili, AI haiwezi kukusaidia. One of the guests came here and told that fact. And a lot of people were so angry online. Even when you use ChatGPT, I can use ChatGPT and ask the same question, but we all get different answers because of the prompt that you put is different from mine. Because mwenye akili na ambaye na akili ni vitu viwili tofauti. So how can someone use AI in a better way? So, like, what prompts do you use in ChatGPT?
Let me tell you one thing. Ukiwa na akili na usipokuwa na akili, AI unaweza kutumia. Like any other skill, you need to develop a skill. You're getting me? Mwenye akili na usipokuwa na akili anaweza kutumia bunduki. Provided wamefundishwa namna kushika bunduki na kuitumia. Sijui umeelewa? Prompting is a subject of itself. Actually, tulikuwa tunajaribu kupush kwa advice watu somo la prompting liletwe shuleni. Yaani kwenye yale masomo kama kilimo, sijui nini, somo moja liwe ni prompting. Kwamba watoto waanze kufundishwa prompting from a young age. Because prompting ideally is how you communicate with the computer to give you what you want. Zamani tulikuwa tunaandika code Baadaye tukaja kwenye natural language ambao ndio English. Now tunafanya conversational AI. We're having conversation with the computer. You can actually ask, bwana, nimeachika, I'm heartbroken, what should I do? And then it can advise you. You know, a ChatGPT can be okay, it's not a good idea to do that, but it can advise you. You understand what I'm saying? So my point is, like any other skill, prompting is a skill and it can be taught and you can master it. Kwa hata kama una akili mzee, you can actually learn how to prompt. Na kozi zipo, ukienda kwenye Coursera utakuta kuna kozi za prompting. Ukiandika tu YouTube how to prompt, what are the best prompts in marketing, what are the best prompt in sales, what are the best prompt in a certain sector, zitakuja, utakuta jamaa na tutorials out. They'll have tutorials teaching how to prompt to get what you want. And you as an expert in the banking and finance sector, you can actually go and say, what is the best prompt within my sector and what are the best AI tool within my sector? Because generative AI is big, ChatGPT is big, but within ChatGPT, there are so many other specific GPTs you can use for your specific sector. If you're coming from health sector and energy sector, you can be able to do that. So that's number 2. Number 3, this is a unique time for you to become a lifelong learner, meaning that you have an opportunity to actually learn. So for example, if I'm a first year student right now at University of Dar es Salaam or IFM doing banking and finance, I'll go to Coursera and do this course, this specific course I'm telling you right now. It's a course I've been telling a lot of young people to do. There's a course on artificial intelligence for the finance sector.
Okay.
Man, if you do that course, you don't need a degree. I'm just telling you plainly, because you can be able to do everything that someone wants a finance expert to do. What do we want finance expert to do? To open, to close our book, to do financial analysis, to help us with auditing. Maybe the only thing you miss is a stamp that I've audited this statement. But basically anything that is repetitive that you're studying in a school today, AI can do. AI can generate a better financial report way better than you. Because provided the number and the data are there, it can even do benchmarking and analysis between your company and 6 other companies, which will take you months to do. So the key issue is, how do you attain the skills? How do you learn the skills? Because once you have them, it's a power that no one can take away from you.
You know, we always talk about skills. You know, a lot of people come and complain like, I have no job, give me a job. And the first question I'll ask them is, what skills do you have? Because if you have a skill, the skill is what will give you money at first. Let's say if you don't have any capital to start. So there you are, you had it here first, you can become a prompter. That's just one skill. Yeah. You know, a lot of businesses fail in Tanzania and a lot of startups can't go to the next level because of capital. That's the main thing, but there are a lot of other things, as you explained previously. But talking about capital, and you being Sahara Ventures, you told me that you help startups to raise capital. So how can a startup raise capital?
Invest in yourself first. I'll tell you how the process of getting money, whether it's a big or small capital or small loan or a tip from a friend, it's the same.
Okay.
People invest in people. You cannot take that away. Look within your family. You might have an elder brother or someone, and your father will say, no, this money don't give it to John, give it to Michael because he's more responsible.
Yeah.
And then you take care for the rest. You make sure all the other young brothers and sisters are getting money. So people invest in people. So the first thing, if you're looking to raise money from someone, ask yourself, do I look like someone who can be given money?
Okay. If I were me asking, would I give myself money?
Yes, that's a very good question, because if you just come in and walk in and say, hey, I have my idea, I need 50 million. Okay, that's a brilliant idea. Okay, so what are you gonna do with this 50 million? To be honest, bro, I don't know, but I think I need 50 million. So I should give you money on something which you don't know what you want to do with it. You're getting me? Yeah. Or What have you done so far? There's something we call bootstrapping in entrepreneurship and startup. Bootstrap.
Okay.
Bootstrapping. And bootstrapping, simply what it means is you are working with minimum resources possible.
Okay.
To me, as an investor, that's a commitment toward your own vision. Because if you come to me with just a piece of paper, a concept has been written in a piece of paper, and you say, I need an investment to implement this piece of paper, I can't tell you anyone can write a piece of paper. What have you done so far? Who have you talked to? Have you formed your team? Have you started to work on a minimum viable concept? Have you tried? Have you put on your own money? For how long have you stayed without eating because you want to push that product? Because that deal, that adrenaline, that push is what gives me confidence to say, I want to invest in this person. And that is what I meant when I say you should invest on yourself first. You should invest in your skills. You should invest in your discipline. You should invest in your commitment. You should invest in your vision. You should invest in your team. You should invest in your product. You should invest in your execution strategy. You should sacrifice, because the moment I see that, you are giving me your commitment and discipline, and I'm parting way with my money to give you, because I trust you have enough discipline to execute that vision. That is phase one. Unless if it's your mom or dad, no one will give you money just because you've gone there with a picture of an idea or an idea. And I've been working with ideas for years. So try as much as possible to move at least to a next stage, which is not an idea, to be doing something. If it's something that cost 50 million to start, cut it down and try to start with 1 or 2 million, just to prove to people this is what I want to do. You're getting me? So that will be my first advice. My second advice: build networks. I'm not coming from a very rich family. I'm coming from a mid-income earner family. My dad worked in one place for so many years. My mom worked in a public institution for so many years. We were so many in the family that they were supporting. So there was no cash to burn around to test and toy with people's ideas. Like, J4, this is 30 million. Go and try to figure out if things will work out. You're getting me? There's no that money. The biggest asset they've ever owned is our house and Toyota Kruger that my dad bought. So you can imagine. So it's critical for you to establish and build your own network and trust. People can actually trust you. They can respect you based on what you do and based on what you're trying to convince them that you're capable of doing. And these are the people who will say, you know what? I believe on what you're trying to do because I've seen you doing this and do it really well. I want to come in as a partner, and maybe I'm going to put something to try to see if it's going to move to the next level. So building your own network can be one of the ways to address the issue of capital and funding. And move from your comfort zone. If all of your friends are broke, why do you stay with them? do you understand? It's nothing personal. It's just being capitalistic.
Yeah.
I don't mean chow us you and they could go to rich people and then kiss asses. No, I don't mean that. But I mean, you should build a network that allow you to grow. Because it's necessary. You should always hang out with people who look like the place where you want to be, not to a place where you're coming from. You know, if you have a cycle where all of your friends think you are smart, then you're in the wrong cycle.
We always say that your network is your net worth. That was the main reason that we started Connectors Club, so that people can come and network with people with the like-minded ideas. And that's why this year we are hosting a tech summit event, so that people in tech can come and connect together. So you said networking is a skill. So how do you network with people? Let's say you met someone and you want to network with them. How do you network, and how do you choose people to network with?
It's interesting. First, don't confuse networking and stalking. Don't stalk people. Don't stalk people. Don't rush to people and say, hey, come on, would you? Don't do those things. People like to hang out with people who look like them. People like to hang out with people who actually challenge them sometimes. Because they have a tendency to respect them, especially high value people. If they're cheap people, they'll always want to hang out with people they can control and tell what to do, or bebe mabegi na nini na vitu kama. But if you're high value people, you want to spot talent, you want to spot someone who's ambitious enough, you want to hang out with someone who can challenge your thinking, who can give you different opinion and perception on what you're thinking. So try to develop qualities of people you want to hang out with.
In yourself.
So if you want to network with someone who read books, you actually read books. If you want to network with someone who understands businesses and numbers, you actually learn to understand businesses and numbers so that you can have a conversation about businesses and numbers. If you want to learn about global economics and macroeconomics in the perspective of the global politics and everything, you need to develop those skills to be able to have a conversation with that person, because you can naturally flow and engage within the same wavelengths. Because sometimes they speak things and everything they speak, you start to writing down. Then it's no longer a conversation.
You're still taking without giving.
You're taking without giving. So that's a very important line. You're taking without giving. It has to be give and take. That's how you network. But also, you have to be articulative, but you have to respect people's time. Because when you have money, what don't you have?
Time.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you want to talk to someone, let's say you want to introduce your business, be very specific. What's the size of the problem you're trying to solve? What opportunity that is there, the solution you're bringing? And why you are the right person to do it. Like I'm Musa, I'm from Super Speed Logistics. What we are trying to do, we are trying to make sure 20 million Tanzanians move things around smoothly without any obstacles. And how we do it, we network all the border drivers and the Toyo drivers to make sure things get in place in time. We are very ambitious on what we're trying to do. We want by 2030 to be in 5 African countries. I know you are into logistics, Mr. GSM. How can we have a follow-on conversation about this?
That's a very good elevator speech.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So bana, wewe ndo karibu ndo mwenyewe. Ndo huyu wa Yanga mwingine. You don't do that. You go straight to the point. You be articulative. You speak things that actually resonate with them, because they start to see value and how they can trace their value between you and them.
So if you guys want to network or you're in the tech sector, just come at JNICC on 12th July. We will have the biggest tech summit event to ever happen in Tanzania. Mark my words. I hope Mr. Jumanne here will come, and this is my formal invitation for you.
This is very interesting. Are you also a politician on the other side? Because people don't ask things on live TV, but it's fine. I'll try my level best to make it. If I'll be in Tanzania, I'll participate. No problem.
A lot of young people in Tanzania who are in the tech sector, most of them, they usually run away from Tanzania and they go and start their tech companies elsewhere because of so many reasons. One of the reasons is lack of support here in the country. We have seen one tech guy, is the founder of Nala. He had to move from Tanzania to other countries, but it's the talent that's being wasted here in our country. So how can government and private sectors collaborate better to support the youth in the tech industry and the innovators of Tanzania?
So I think scientifically a lot has to be a number, 70%, 80%. I'm a scientist. So I don't think it's a lot, because for you to go outside, you have to be exposed to go outside. Do you understand me? Uwezi kwa amekulia Kitunda Kinyantila au kwa nasema au Kariakoo nilikokulia mimi, and then ukasema I'm fed up with this country, so I'm moving to another country to start my business. Moving to another country to start your business is also a privilege. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Not everyone can do it.
Not everyone can do it. So we have to fix our problems. It's critical we fix our problem. By the way, I really appreciate what Benja did, because he sent a very strong message in terms of we actually need to be able to support our businesses so that they can scale and build wealth locally at home. But I think the problem is bigger than that. The problem is beyond just people moving outside to do businesses outside Tanzania. I think the problem is bigger than that. The problem is, how do we create a conducive environment, not just to retain businesses here. Actually, it is good when businesses from Tanzania go outside. Just imagine when we say, hey, Jumanne started Sahara Ventures in Dar es Salaam in a very small room with 5 of his colleagues, and now it's a Pan-African brand. They do events in Nilongwe, in Bujumbura, in Kampala, in Cape Town, in all places. They build this vast network to an extent that they have partnership in South Africa and even the Nordic region. It's a good narrative when we can actually export our business and our talent outside Tanzania. What is important is to try to see what are the policies, regulation, and business environment we should set in place to be able to create a conducive environment for a young Tanzanian who is building their company to actually flourish at home. Couple of things needs to be done. First, of course, is the policy environment. When someone is starting. So we need to create a platform for them to be able to start. And that is what actually we are doing right now with Prime Minister's Office, Planning and Investment Ministry, with the business reforms, something called Mkumbi in Kiswahili, Mkumbi 2, where we are looking into what are some of those critical challenges that are facing small, medium, and large businesses in Tanzania so they can operate in an environment that is conducive. Is it something easy? It is not something easy. Remember my opening few words. We are traditionally a socialistic country. Now we are trying to catch up and to understand this capitalistic thing and free market economy and how it works. You understand me? So there'll be constant improvement in that area. The second thing is beyond just creating a self-business environment, there's so many other things. Things like, how can the government establish things like an investment fund to support early stage businesses in Tanzania? Because if you can't unlock capital for your local businesses, what you're saying is they should go where there's capital. Because if there's no capital at home, kama nyumbani kwa babako hakuna wali, unaenda kula kwa jirani. So basically that's also an incentive for you to move out, to go to another place because there's capital. But also there's issues around talent and skills. If you look at the report from Google and IFC on the predicted size of the internet economy and its contribution in Africa by 2030, one of the things they did, which was very interesting, is actually to map the number of enterprise-level software developers across these big African cities. You could see why Dar es Salaam is struggling, where very few enterprise-level software developers, which means if I want to build a global-level type of a company with massive talent behind it to support it, I'll struggle, which means I'll go to cities where there's actual talent. So it is beyond just policies and regulations. You have issues around talent, you have issues around policies and regulation, you have issues around freedom of movement of immigration and people from multiple markets that actually influence where companies are being set. But there are some efforts that have been done within the government right now to address some of these issues. There's discussion around startup policy between the Minister of ICT and Tanzania Startup Association to try to see how they can address some of those challenges. But we need to move fast. While others are walking, we need to be running, because we cannot afford to be passengers in this car. We need to be drivers, and things are moving so fast.
If you could implement one policy to accelerate innovation in Tanzania, what could it be?
That's a very good question. Zero taxes for all startups and SME for the first 3 years of operation. No compliance. Do whatever you want to do, and then when you start to make money, we start to charge you.
Without taxes, how can the government earn money?
A very good question. And without businesses, how do they earn money? Because if you tax a business before it is established, you're basically taxing the capital, which eventually the business will die. So it's a conundrum. It's a difficult decision, but you have to make. You have to allow the company to actually flourish to a stage where you can make value and get profit and contribution out of it.
So
Like trying kumkamua maziwa ndama. Lazima mlishe akuwe akomae.
yeah. So as of right now, when a tech startup is starting in Tanzania, that means that they're being taxed from the first day that they're starting.
No. That is misleading. It's not happening that way. It's not happening that way. You can always go to TRA. You can discuss. What my point is, something is already happening, but we need to be more intentional about it. What is being said outside na kwa ground mambo ni tofauti sana. Bado vijana wanahangaika kuestablish biashara zao, and something needs actually to be done to improve that business environment. And that's why I think the work that we are doing right now on business reform with Minister of Planning and Investment is very, very crucial. We primarily also pay more attention to small businesses and startups, because that's where also most of the challenges is, beyond the challenge that big businesses are facing.
You talked about your dad so highly as being someone who played a very big key role of you getting into the tech industry by buying you the first computer that you used to do pimping with it. So I'm wondering, what are some of other key mentors that have played a big role in your career?
Man, there's so many. I'm not that person who actually looks at one person. I get things from anyone I meet. So like by the time I leave here, I've already been learning a lot of things from Musa and Super Speed Logistics. What are they doing? How do they started? How do they get Vusi to come to Tanzania? They're very young. How do they coordinate it? Oh, wow, they did an event. What was the experience? When did you do your first event?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I did my first event in 2015. So I'm like, what is like this thing now if you want to do an event and you are starting? Because when we are starting, we remember how difficult it was. Maybe to you guys it was too smooth. I don't know. So you can always learn something from someone. That is what I'm saying. But there are some few people who are outstanding that I've learned a lot from them. For example, I've learned serving and service from my mom. She loves to serve. She serves the family. She serves friends. She serves everyone, and she enjoys doing it. It kind of fulfills a certain purpose within our life. I've learned leadership and boldness from my first boss. Her name was Madam Christina Lahde. She's a Finnish lady. She's like no nonsense woman. We're still good friends until today. I've learned about how to shape my career and to love what I do from Dr. Hassan Mshinda, from the former COSTECH Director General. He just enjoy what he does, enjoy working with people, enjoying innovation, technology, learning new things. And that satisfaction of him being able to do that is what actually led me to believe if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I've learned from the likes of Balozi Ami Pungwe. Is a very reputed person, is a successful business person, and a seasonal diplomat. So it's a combination of people I met along the way. I've learned a lot from my also co-founders and shareholders. I've learned a lot also from my mentees and friends. I have mentees that I've been mentoring them since 2016. One of them is called Gilda Given. She's writing her 4th book now, and she's an amazing person. We met yesterday. She told me about her plans for growth, for learning, gigs that she's chasing. So to me, a mentor can be anyone who, again, issue of give and take, while you do something for them, but also you're learning from them. Yeah.
You know, I really liked when you said that you can learn from anyone. You know, even my mentor once told me that you can even learn from a stupid person, because when they tell you something, you can learn, okay, I don't have to be like this guy. Or you can learn from a smart person and you'll be like, okay, this is really pure gold. I can utilize it in my life.
I actually learn more from stupid people.
Yeah, by avoiding the mistakes that they do. Yeah. So apart from your new book that is coming, that you are working on right now, what other big dream or big project that's coming next from Jumanne?
Oh, wow. Some of them, they are supposed to go public yet. Okay. But I can say some of the sectors that I'm looking into, not specifically projects. I think Sahara Ventures is turning 10. I'm very keen to consolidate my career as an investor. I'm thinking about continuing to invest in startup. I'm toying around with an idea to establish my own very small fund to invest in startup and small businesses, not necessarily tech. I'm still toying around with it. I've already invested in like 5 projects with that fund. I haven't yet formalized it. And the idea is to try to see if I can expand the fund before I go public with it and start to invest in other startups. So that's number one. I really looking to invest and consolidate my skills as an investor. Second, I looked at all these changes that are happening in the world right now in terms of technology. I did a quick scan of what I want to do. I want to get into AI. I want to get into Gen AI. But I think autonomous and agentic AI will be here for some time. So that is an area where I really want to deep dive in and focus on. And the plan is even to establish a wing within Sahara Ventures to push that, because I know that is here to stay. So that is on the technology side. I want to continue to write books.
Yeah.
So after this book I'm launching, I've already started to write another book called African Youth 4.0. African youth in the age of uncertainties and digital disruptions. Like how African youths are going to survive all these technologies and all these changes that are coming up. How are they going to affect them from a social, economical, political perspectives? So that is something which I'm already researching on. But I also want to continue to contribute to my community, working especially in education, to try to improve the quality of education and access to quality education. And I also want to continue to work with startups and founders, because I believe they are the one who are actually going to take our communities and society to the next level.
Coming to my last question. AI. We talked about AI previously. Artificial intelligence is a very big threat to anyone, no matter what industry, no matter what sector you're in. You should be scared of AI. But also, on the other hand, AI is a very big opportunity to everyone that can embrace it and can know like how to use AI. So, what opportunities that you see in AI that people can utilize, and what worries you the most about AI?
So opportunity is, for the first time in the history of the planet, is very easy to change career. Very easy to change career completely. Like you can decide to move from being a journalist to a financial expert in 3 months. So if you don't like what you want to do, learn AI and change it. So it's very easy to change careers. So that thing of, I've gone to school for 3 years, I've studied procurement, there are no jobs in the procurement sector, what am I going to do? You shouldn't worry. Just learn AI, change your career, do something else, start to create pictures, become a creative and start to create poems and sell books. You can change your skill immediately. So that is a massive opportunity that AI is bringing, your ability to change your careers really quick and capitalize on your opportunity.
Let me cut you off right there. Let's say I'm doing a podcast, I'm a podcast host, and I want to change my career today and become a musician or an artist. How can I do that using AI?
I don't think you can become a musician, but you can become a composer of music. You can become a lyrics writer for Diamond Platnumz. All you need to do is put all his previous lyrics and train the model and say, can you create a new song for Diamond Platnumz? Itachukua matusi na maneno yote yakuwa natumia zamani, itaweka. I'm just making jokes. but the point is, you can be able to do something that is repetitive. You will not have the vocal that he has so that you can start to sing. And when I say you can change your career, there are careers that you can change. There are some careers that are difficult to change. You cannot move from being a podcaster to an assassin using AI. You understand what I'm saying? But you can actually learn. If you search like what's the best way, what are the places that you can easily kill someone if you hit them on the body. AI can respond to that. Yeah.
You know Pastor Gwajima, right?
Yeah, I know Gwajima.
Yeah. Just last night, Pastor Gwajima lost his church. So, using AI, how can you advise him to gain back his church?
The thing is, AI is not God.
Okay.
Mwache Mungu wa Mungu. If I was AI, the only advice I'll give him is to pray to get his church back. Because it's God's house. If it's God's house, we're going to get it back. If it's not God's house, that is gone.
So you can use AI to generate the prayers, right?
You can use the AI to generate prayers, of course. Actually, let me tell you something really interesting. I'm a Muslim. And there's a ustaz who comes home to teach my daughter some basics of Quran and Islamic foundational skills. And I was telling the ustaz, I'm paying you, but if my daughter reaches to an age where she can effectively interact with AI, you might go out of job. And he thought I was joking. So I'll tell you something. I'm going to show you something really fun. The guy was like, there's no way. So I did this to him when he was there. I told him I have another ustaz who is smarter than him. And the guy thought I was joking. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?
I'm good. So, can you tell me 5 basic principles of Islamic financing based on Sahih al-Bukhari?
Sure. Islamic financing principles are grounded in Sharia law and are reflected in various hadiths, including those found in Sahih al-Bukhari. Here are 5 basic principles. Prohibition of interest, riba. Charging or paying interest is strictly forbidden. Instead, profit must be made through legitimate trade and investment.
Can you use Kiswahili? And for every principle, can you say at least one hadith that support it?
Bila shaka, hapa kuna kanuni 5 za msingi za ugharamiaji wa Kiislamu na hadithi kutoka Sahih al-Bukhari zinazozithibitisha. Anza, marufuku ya riba. Kutoza au kulipa riba ni haramu, badala yake faida inapaswa kupatikana kupitia biashara halali na uwekezaji. Hadithi inasema, Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam aliyelipa riba, mwandishi wa mkataba wa riba na mashahidi wake. Sahih al-Bukhari 2086.
So my
I hope the ustad is watching this today.
So the point is fascinating. Yeah. Do you understand how powerful these technologies are? Uhitaji ni kusikiliza ujinga asubuhi kwenye gari. Sijui amefanya nini, huyu kampiga nini. You can actually interact and learn something that is important to you. You had a dream of learning something. You can actually learn by just interacting with these tools. Yeah.
So I'm out of questions right now.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you an opportunity to share your final words to our viewers. Anything of value that can help them.
I'm not dying anytime soon. I wanted to make a joke. Anyway, I think at the end of the day, we are human beings. Yeah. And technologies will come, will go, will keep on improving, but we're human beings. Exactly. So it's very important to keep those crucial aspect of us being human.
Yeah.
Empathy, understanding, love to service,
Okay.
attention to our community,
Yeah.
integrity. These are some of the things that will make us to continue to remain humans in the age of digital disruption.
So, humanity, something that even AI cannot replace.
It cannot replace.
Yeah, that's so deep.
Yeah. There's an interesting book called Race After Technology of Professor Ruha Benjamin, where she talked about a concept called the Gym Code. The Gym Code means those who are coding these AI and everything, they actually transfer their behavior and perspective about things to these technologies. Kwa hiyo, if you're a bad person using AI, you're going to generate bad things in AI. If you're a good person using AI, you're going to generate good things in AI. So let's fix the person first.
Yeah, so we have a next guest that will be coming, and I would like you to leave a question for that next guest without you knowing who they are. Any question, but we'll tell them who left the question for them.
If there's one thing they can do to transform the life of young Tanzanian, what will they do?
So, thank you for watching, guys. I hope this episode really has value for you. And if you think what we're doing is of value, please like this video, subscribe, and if you want to reach Jumanne, we'll leave his credentials down here. And time is not in our hand, but I had a lot of questions to ask. I even have a lot of follow-up questions that I didn't ask because our time was limited. So if you want Jumanne to come back for part 2, just comment down below. Jumanne will put his Instagram, his LinkedIn. Go and spam him and beg him to come back here on MOD podcast. And if enough people go to him and beg him, hopefully he'll come back for part 2. With that being said, thank you and see you on the next episode.